Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we are diving into a set of sources that honestly completely reframe a holiday I think we all thought we knew. We're going to look at how historical records and modern activist campaigns are taking Mother's Day and transforming it from a sanitized, highly commercial event right back into a dynamic, radical movement.
Because think about it, what if the brunch reservations and the greeting cards are actually overshadowing the true intent of the holiday? Today we're looking at historical records from Code Pink, the digital Mama's Day campaign reported by Blavity, and some deeply personal narratives from Ultraviolet. We're going to examine exactly how diverse groups are working to reclaim this day.
So here is our roadmap for today's explainer. Number 1, the radical roots. Number 2, expanding the definition. Number 3, motherhood and hard choices. And number 4, reclaiming Mother's Day. Let's jump right in. Starting with Section 1, the radical roots. Let's uncover the completely surprising anti-war history of the holiday, as documented by the activist group Code Pink.
And the history here is absolutely wild. This didn't start with flowers. The holiday actually began way back in 1870. Julia Ward Haw wrote a Mother's Day proclamation as a direct response to the American Civil War and the Franco-Prussian War. She was literally calling on mothers to rise up and protest the futility of their sons killing other mothers' sons. Later on in the 1870s, Anna Reeves Jarvis used the concept to promote family reunification. It actually wasn't until decades later, in 1914, that Woodrow Wilson signed it into a national observance.
And this history brilliantly illustrates a huge tension. On one side, you have the founders' original vision of peace and anti-commercialization, but on the exact opposite side, you have industries, like those represented by the trade journal Florists Review, openly admitting at the time that their entire goal was to exploit the holiday for profit. In fact, the founder, Anna Reeves Jarvis, campaigned so fiercely against this commercial hijacking that she was actually arrested for protesting flower sales. I mean, can you imagine being hauled off by the police for protesting a bouquet? She even fought against the creation of a Mother's Day postage stamp. It really puts those super expensive floral arrangements into a whole new perspective, doesn't it? Moving on to Section 2, expanding the definition. Let's take a look at how modern campaigns are continuing that radical, original intent based on reporting by Blavity. Back in 2011, Forward Together and a few other organizations launched the Digital Mama's Day campaign. According to the source material, this campaign focuses heavily on combating racial and gender violence, specifically working to protect the right to parent within the African American community. It's really about illustrating these diverse, non-traditional forms of motherhood that just don't usually make it onto a Hallmark card. They're highlighting a really vast, diverse spectrum of mothers here. The campaign deliberately brings public attention to incarcerated, undocumented, immigrant, lesbian, trans, and queer mothers, as well as foster and adoptive moms. The sources point out that a lot of these women face incredibly hostile environments, everything from criminalization to a total lack of reproductive services, and that makes the fundamental, everyday act of parenting a massive struggle. Art plays a huge role in expressing this too. Artist Iman Getty beautifully points out how expanding our heteronormative notions of kinship actually honors the broader community. She talks about watching her own single mother struggle in a new country without her traditional support system. For her, Mama's Day is a way to honor the movement mamas and community members who step in to nurture and guide families. It truly is a powerful reminder that it takes a village. All right, Section 3, Motherhood and Hard Choices. For this part, we are going to neutrally examine maternal responsibility through some deeply personal and politically sensitive stories provided by the organization Ultraviolet. So, a really crucial data point provided by Ultraviolet is this striking statistic right here. 59% of women who seek abortions are actually already mothers. When we listen to mainstream conversations, this specific demographic often goes completely unseen. The source material shares several stories of mothers making complex, incredibly difficult medical decisions specifically because of their dedication to the children they already have or the circumstances they are in. For instance, there's Hakuma's story. She was a single mother who had just managed to secure a good-paying job with health benefits. She explains that she decided to terminate a pregnancy specifically to protect the stability and progress of her 2 existing children. She noted that having another baby would have totally erased the progress she'd made to provide a secure home for them. The sources also bring to light historical struggles. Katie, who is 77 now, shared that nearly 50 years ago, after she had had 3 kids, her doctor actually refused her a tubal ligation. Why? Simply because she was under 30 and had fewer than 5 children.
So when she got pregnant again, she braved police raids at a private, underground clinic in California because she knew, without a doubt, her family just couldn't financially support a fifth child.
We also get some international perspectives. Amy shared how her secret, underground abortion in the Philippines, where the procedure is entirely illegal, allowed her to escape both an abusive partner and generational poverty. She makes the point that parenthood demands literally all of our resources. And because she waited until she was truly ready, she was later able to build a safe, stable life and become the mother she wanted to be for her daughters today.
Now, these choices are often accompanied by immense sorrow, too. Nicole's story highlights the profound grief of a late-term abortion that was necessitated by a fetal anomaly. She stresses that this was just a heartbreaking choice, but one they made as a family. She later went on to have a healthy daughter, and she notes that her experience catalyzed this transformative emotional growth that she uses to model resilience for her child today. Finally, the sources look at the pure economic realities. For Nikia, who actually grew up as one of 14 children and watched her own mother sacrifice her dreams, the $250 cost of her abortion was a completely necessary sacrifice. She literally delayed paying her bills just to afford the care she needed, specifically so she wouldn't be forced to bring a child into a world where she couldn't afford to raise it. She's a mother now, and she says her past choice allows her to be the emotionally and financially stable parent her daughter needs.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 4, Reclaiming Mother's Day. We're going to see how all these diverse and sometimes really challenging sources tie right back to the original intent of the holiday.
So what's the big takeaway from this explainer? It's that the modern reclamation of Mother's Day takes a lot of active forms, really echoing the activism we saw back in 1870. Whether it's Code Pink urging mothers to protest 12 more years of war, or the Mama's Day campaign asking people to sign the Black Mamas Revival Pledge to uplift marginalized moms, or Ultraviolet demanding dignity and support for complex medical choices. All these groups are unified. They are reclaiming Mother's Day for active political engagement, rather than just passive consumption. And that leaves us with this final thought. We've traced this history from a literal anti-war proclamation all the way to modern digital campaigns fighting for the marginalized and the unseen. So now that you've seen the unvarnished source material and the incredibly diverse faces of motherhood, moving past the greeting cards and the floral arrangements, how will you honor the true radical history of this day? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you next time.